Hello, hello, this is Jan. I'm here with an energy update. It's the full moon. Thank you for being here. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for being here. I'm recording this as the full moon is technically happening. It was occurring at 10:53 a.m. Eastern Time. So this full moon is gigantic. It's the ultimate axe blow when it comes to this physical reality, the past, the present, the future. It is now time to leave the past in the past and move forward. And I know we always say that, and it seems easy to say, but harder to do. Just know that this full moon will influence us and our energy into embodying more of our divine truth, our divinity. So if you suddenly felt a change this morning in your energy, that's what it was. It was the energies, the new energies actually coming in. They will affect us into seeing past events differently, changing our perceptions and thought patterns. And I know I mentioned that over and over, but that's what it's all about. That's what healing is. It's being able to see the two sides of the stories, the two sides of the coins, and to release what was painful or what is painful, to embody new energies, new perceptions. Thoughts being energy, we embody new energy. The best advice for this full moon is get out of the way. Get out of your own way. Allow it to work its magic into your life. Allow it to reach you directly in your solar plexus, in your heart, in your mind. Allow it to change and release what no longer belongs in your life, no matter what it is. And I know that's difficult. Sometimes we don't see or understand why we need to release something, especially if we were attached or if we liked a certain job or a certain person or a certain situation. But if you resist, you're basically being in your way and you're creating a block. So going with the flow is all about being open to what is, being open to your own destiny. Fighting against your destiny is just like fighting against gravity. It's impossible. It's really hard to do. It can't work for a short time, but it cannot work permanently. And when we fight against our own destiny, we create those blocks and those obstacles on our road, on the road ahead of us. So therefore, at this time, is all about getting out of the way, being in a surrendering mode, being in gratitude. And why being in gratitude is just to welcome these new things into your life. It's just like if you're trying to start a garden. If you don't use the right soil to put your seeds in, your vegetables or your flowers will grow, but they may be crooked or they won't grow at all. That's why we need to be in gratitude first, to welcome it, to open the door to what is. We will start as a collective feeling more centered into ourselves, into our energy, and being able to recognize more efficiently or quicker when we are being pulled into something negative or being pulled into negative thinking or energy. And we will be able to recenter ourselves much easier in a more fluid way. And that all ties in with what's going on in the cosmos. And the seasons and going towards spring for some of us. It's the Ascension Path. It's the spiritual awakening. More and more people are awakening. More and more people are ascending higher and understanding things at a deeper level. And that's just a generic term to say understanding yourself, understanding your own self-mastery and your patterns that are not helping you at all, and the patterns that you should adopt to help you grow and manifest your best life or your best self. This full moon is the ultimate axe blow. It is done. The past is the past. It is time to leave it in the past, to forgive, and focus on the present moment. Not on the future, but the present. Because your future actually starts in the present moment. So focusing on what you're doing right now, your awareness, your level of surrender, your level of compassion, gratitude, and unconditional love, and staying in that state, in your own little bubble, in embodying a childlike state of mind, being bubbly, being happy, dancing, singing, playing, being light. That's what will attract the new things that you're going to see come true in the future. It starts now by being present right now with your own thoughts and changing the thoughts that you no longer want. And I know that's easy to say, not easy to do, but it is doable. It is. As far as the twin flames, so many things are changing for both masculine and feminine, but in regards to the divine masculine, it's literally the caterpillar transforming into the butterfly. It's about this new layer of divinity that they are now aware of. And for some of them, they're even thinking, why was I thinking this way? Why was I, for the longest time, unable to see things differently? It is happening now. They are changing their identity, their inner patterns. And I know I say that often, probably in every video, but that's what the Ascension Path is all about. It's about progress. It's about never stopping, always going forward. So depending on the amount of work that has been done for the divine masculine, collectively, they are being released of their old ways, seeing their spiritual gifts. A lot of them have been getting a lot of visions on top of this ridiculous amount of synchronicities that they've been getting lately, but visions of who they need to be, of what they need to do to feel happy. Because a lot of them have been unhappy, uneasy, uncomfortable. That's done. The comfort zone is done. They are no longer able to stay in it. And that goes with my last video, talking about the barriers being gone. That was the opening. Now it's the live show with this full moon. A lot of things will start slowly moving forward. And again, getting out of the way and being in surrender, not trying to force things or to control things to happen the way you want them to happen, is the best thing to do. When you are in that state, you are able to receive, and you allow yourself to receive whatever is meant to reach you at that time. How it happens, that's where the magic happens. We often don't know how it happens. That's where the universe puts in action this entire process of bringing these things to us. And by being out of the way, well, the door is wide open for this process to take place, for this magic to happen, and for us to receive and to change and to manifest what we want. It seems easy. It's not always easy because as human beings, we often tend to try to understand how things are going to happen. And it really doesn't matter how they happen. What matters is that they happen. So by letting go, surrendering is the only thing to do. It's the most powerful tool, actually. And when we learn to work with this tool, like for example, if you're facing a situation where you don't know where to go, you don't know what decision to make, just surrender. Surrender to the universe, whichever way works for you. By saying, I surrender this situation to the universe, or I just let it go for now and made the answer appear to me. See, that looks magical, and it is, because that's where the transformation happens. Internally, and from the unified field or in the unified field, that's where we're able to be a channel to receive that information from the unified field. Most of us will receive it at night when we sleep, but some people are able to receive it during waking hours because they are aware of these energies. They are aware of what's happening on all levels. So the divine masculine is in that process of learning to surrender, learning who they really are, learning to let go all these situations where they don't feel comfortable in anymore, and they hold on to that for a very long time. It's been exhausting. So if you are in the twin flame connection, you know what I'm talking about. You've probably been feeling those energies. Feeling your twin flame going through hardships for no good reasons other than being unable to let go of their ego. So that's the biggest transformation. A big layer of ego is being stripped away, and the heart is being put in the driver's seat. So that is awesome news at this time. Other than that, slowly on a daily basis, we're going to start seeing a lot of little changes in our lives, things disappearing. When I say things, of course, it's not material things, but things that used to bother us, things that used to feel like they were blocking us. Lessons are being learned on both sides of the twin flames. So when lessons are learned on one side, it has a ripple or a mirror effect on the other side. I'm saying this because a lot of divine feminine have been in this space of kind of like waiting for things to happen, kind of like working extremely hard just to hold the space and the balance to be able to move on to the next step. That's what's happening right now. The lessons are being learned from the other side of the connection. Therefore, you should be able to receive that ripple effect, that influence, that positive influence. Of course, it always depends of the amount of work and the kind of work that you've been doing. You can't quantify the work done by the amount of months or years that you've been doing it, but by the quality. And also, side note, if you haven't seen the documentary Heal, it's on Netflix. Really cool documentary to watch. A lot of great people are speaking about how their healing process happens. scientific people like Bruce Lipton, like Greg Braden, Joe Dispenza. Amazing documentary to watch on the healing process, explained in ways that is down to earth, and it includes the spiritual side, the physical side, and the scientific side of what healing is. At the end of the day, if you heal on one level only, the rest cannot happen. We need to heal on all levels because we are multi-dimensional beings. We can not only heal physically, we can not only heal spiritually. All of it must be done. That's what it means to be in alignment. That is also happening for the Divine Masculine and for all twin flames for that matter. For all twin flames that are on the Ascension Path and working super hard to release those layers of old energies, either from past lives or past situations. Perhaps at this point, you are not already feeling this full moon effect. You may be purging. That happens often before a full moon or right after, depending on how you work in your cycles. Purging is a must to make space for new things to show up. Purging is not easy. The Divine Masculine has been purging as well. Everybody has. And it's really important to allow this process to happen. Without this transformation, without this alchemical transformation, nothing else after can happen. The caterpillar cannot transform into a butterfly if they don't go into their own cocoon for the transformation to occur. Same thing for us human beings. It's just that this process we don't know about. We were not taught in school how to do this. It used to be in a place of very esoteric place. That's the best way I could say it. Very esoteric, that healing process. And we were taught the physical form of it without looking at the spiritual side of things. We've reached that level where we understand enough without being too esoteric about it, where it can be explained in simple words what's happening through this process. That's what this Ascension Path, spiritual ascension, is about. That transformation. And it always, always, always shows up with physical symptoms. Having a hard time sleeping, which often happens during full moons. Having all kinds of skin problems, itchiness, irritations and stuff like that. The body, that's a sign that the body is detoxifying and it needs to come out. The skin, being the biggest organ of the body, is reacting to that chemical transformation. It can also show up by emotions being released. And as long as there is emotions trapped in the body cannot heal completely. And releasing emotions doesn't happen on a spiritual level only. It needs to be done physically by taking an action in the physical reality. By crying, by just feeling that emotion, by forgiving, by having a conversation, by looking at yourself and accepting what is happening or playing out in your life at this time, and focusing on moving forward. Of course, if what is blocking you involves someone else, that can be a little bit harder because we don't control what that person does or doesn't want to do. The only thing we can do is control ourselves and change towards the situation and never give up. Forgiveness, compassion, unconditional love. Those are the most three important things to focus on when we try to heal a situation. Focusing on our heart at all times. Letting go of the ego and the mind trying to stir you in different directions, trying to make you think certain things that are not necessarily good. The divine masculine is pretty much done feeling crappy, feeling bad, feeling stuck. They're moving forward. Major, major transformation. And this is happening now with this full moon. Other than that, like I said, a lot of small changes into our everyday lives. So pay attention to these signs. Pay attention to what is trying to manifest and focus on that, on holding the space and the balance for these things to happen. So short video for today. Thank you for being here. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so using my Facebook page at Indigo Girls Readings. On Instagram, Indigo Girls 555, Indigo Girl 555, or using my email, indigogirl555 at gmail.com. Thank you so much for being here and happy full moon.